Shalom. I greet you in the name of the Most High, Yahushua, Yeshua. My name is Brother Jordan. Today I bring you an important message about our children, about the children that we were to train up in the way that they should go. And when they were old, they would not depart from it. But we have violated the laws of the Most High by being traditional with the people of the land. He said to learn not the ways of the heathens. And we had a way that the Most High had most indubitably instructed us how to train up our children, how our children should be obedient and serve Him and be obedient to their parents here. Now, I will go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6, verse 1 through 9. And I'd like to really take this opportunity to slow it down and to let you marinate in your own minds these words that I will repeat from the word of the Most High in His book. Chapter 6, Deuteronomy, verse 1. Now, these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments, which the Lord your God commanded to teach you, that ye might do them in the land whither you go to possess it. Remember, when we talk about lands, when we talk about things in the Old Testament, that doesn't mean that because it's the Old Testament that these things were done away with. These children that He have are today, yesterday, and tomorrow, forever to follow His ordinance. He said that thou mightest fear the Lord thy God, to keep all His statutes and His commandments, which I have commanded thee, thou and thy son and thy son's sons, and all the days of thy life, and that thy days may be prolonged, if you follow those instructions. Hear, therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with thee, and that ye may increase mightily, as the Lord God of thy fathers hath promised thee, in the land that thou now knowest has milk and honey. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thy heart. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thy house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up, and thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thy eyes, and thou shalt write them upon posts of thy house, and on thy gates. These words that the Most High instructed us to teach our children, that they may follow His words from then till now and forever. When I go to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 21, these are the words that the Most High instructed me to read to you exactly as they are presented to me. Deuteronomy chapter 29, verse 15 and 17. No, verse 18 and 21, excuse me. If a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, which will not obey the voice of his father, or the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastised him, will not hearken unto them, then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him, and bring him out unto the elders of the city, and unto the gate of the place. And they shall say unto the elders of his city, This our son is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard, and all the men of the city shall stone him with stones, that he die. So shalt thou put evil away from among you, and all Israel they did fear. These may sound very provocative, very overbearing. These are the lands that we were raised in, our chosen children. These lands that we were promised, the 7 lands of Havilah, Hittites, the Pezerites, the Jebusites, the Girgashites. It was the Canaanites and the Amorites. These 7 lands that were promised to the chosen children, these lands are still today where God's chosen people are to be. And when I read about our disobedient ways because we have not lived in accordance to the Most High, these plagues, these curses came upon us. But my focus is more so on our children, the children of the chosen one, the children of today. When I go to the book of Proverbs, I read the Proverbs, probably most people would understand this one verse is 22:6. And most people know this verse because it's pervasive in today's time, because when we talk about train up, we're looking at many things that are trained up to animals, to dogs, to cats, to horses, to cows, to pigs. Train up. But when I read these words from the Most High and how he described them to me, he said these words: train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. I believe that. If you train him up and instruct them in the righteous ways of the Most High, he will not depart from them. In verse 15, in that same chapter 22, it tells us that foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him. Correction, discipline. The laws of the land today, in the land that we are living in the land of the heathens, we've learned the ways of the heathens. We've decided to take our children and put them on all types of medicine. We decided to discipline by retinol and whatever those so-called calming, those hypertension meds that they give our children. And the effect, as years go on, it affects them longer. And we've seen the side effects of those so-called meds that control our children when they are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It is spoken that if you discipline that child, it will not hurt that if you take a switch and spank his behind. When you're talking about discipline, we're not talking about taking your fist going toe-to-toe with a 3, 4, 5-year-old, boxing, knocking to the head, blows to the chest, breaking up ribs, contusions, brain damage. No, that's not discipline. That's abuse. And when I go back into the book of Proverbs, chapter 23, when I read that word in Proverbs 23, 13 and 14, it tells me this. It says, withhold not correction from the child, for if thou bearest him with a rod, he shall not die. Meaning that if you spank him, if you discipline him, he's not going to die. You will get his attention. If you take away some of the most important things that he likes, and that is his behind. If you spank him with that rod on his behind, he will remember that. And those things that he remembered that he should not do, he will not do anymore. Okay. Thou shalt beat him with the rod, and shall deliver his soul from hell. I would say that sounds like an equal deal to me, that I can save my child from hell if I discipline him the right way that the Most High has instructed me to do so. not by man's ways of discipline and instructions of how they should be disciplined. We're talking about you, me, I, of strong and sound mind that knows that the way to raise your child is the right way that the Most High has instructed us. He gave us all of the information. He gave us all the intuition. He gave us all of the skills that was honed in on us, mothers, fathers, as parents, to teach our children, to train our children, to be righteous with our children, to show our children that there are ways that you must order the righteousness of the Most High that has given us the assignment to teach you. Not by my will, but the Most High's will has given me the instruction on how to teach you. And I'm going to go to the New Testament, something that a lot of people really don't go past the Old Testament, because they say the Old Testament is nostalgic and it's outdated, and those things that happened in the past, we should move up to our own understanding of what we feel ourselves personally, not the word of the Most High. When I go to the book of Ephesians, Ephesians chapter 6, verse 4, Ephesians 6, verse 4. Be patient with me. Ephesians chapter 4. I am very close. Ephesians chapter 4. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 4. I'm sorry. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 4. It says, and ye fathers, listen carefully, and ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonishment of the Most High. Again, and ye, you fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonishment of the Most High. Clear. Strictly clear. Colossians chapter 3, verse 21. Colossians 3, verse 21. It says here, fathers, provoke not your children to anger, lest they be discouraged. Fathers, heads of homes, the disciplinaries of the home, the training up of children in the way that they should go, that they will not depart from it. Fathers, it is your respectful and it's your duty to be the man of that house, to make sure that that house have the correction and the righteousness that the Most High had given you to be the head of your home. Fathers, men, stand up. Take that pressure off of the women. Stop letting them carry the burden of making the decisions when it comes to how we should train up our children. Mothers are, especially when it comes to the boys, they're very overprotected. But a woman cannot teach a boy how to be a man. That is the man's responsibility. And I ask you ladies, women, please allow your husband, the man in your house, to be the man that he should be, to be able to train up that boy in the way that he should go, that he will not depart from it, and he himself will be a representative of the males that are the chosen children of the Most High. Genealogy presents us as heads of homes. Don't stand on my feet to try to step in front of me. Stay beside me, and we can accomplish the same goals and dreams. Please, take care of your children. Train up your children. Teach them the righteous way. The Most High instructs me to teach you, my children, that he has a promise and he has a direction, and there are boundaries with that direction that he has chosen for you. He said, I knew you before you were in your mother's womb. And in closing, I say to you, my brothers and my sisters, in the name of Yahushua, Yeshua, the Hamashiach, I say, Shalom, Shalom, and Shalom shall come.